Is that
There you
on?
go, sorry.
Meeting come to order, please. Roll call, press your present button, please. Uh-oh, we're not lit up yet. She won't like this thing. You enlarge that? Us old people can't read it.
I can read it phone.
Yeah. Give me a break. For the screen to work.
I pull it back over. And you hit roll call? See if you can do it.
Nope.
Yeah.
Well, we can do it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah. We got about a minute before I'm gonna do it the old-fashioned way.
I'm sorry. Try it and see.
Go out there and help her. We'll give it another minute here. It's pitiful when you only get 6. Come on.
Look at the bright side.
What the hell is the bright side? Not gonna work? All right. Announcements, staff.
I recorded these.
You get the attendees?
Yes, sir, I did.
Thank you, sir.
And we have a new attendee now.
One more just came in. I think her name is Lothers.
Lothers.
Either way.
Anyway, yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, a couple of announcements. First of all, we do have 2 revised reports in front of you under the consent agenda, number 7 and number 9. And secondly, want to remind y'all that, and I'm sure some of you have already gotten these hours in, but we have to have, you all need 4 hours of continuing education training by the end of the year. For those of you like Sammy and like Brian, y'all probably have continuing education that are attached to your license, or that could be also substituted for anything that we might provide. I guess the last thing, and Mike and I were debating it this morning too, we also had last month we had a training session with TAPA, and any of y'all that did attend, please let me know after the meeting so we can have those hours documented as well. Okay? Other than that, that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Consideration, consideration of the minutes of September 12. Motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The motion carries. Thank you. Consideration of the consent agenda. Oh, we got two of these. I'm sorry, my bad. I'm not used to 2 minutes. We also got the meeting minutes of October 10, 2019. Motion to approve. Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Consideration of the consent agenda, items 4 through 10. Anyone wishing to pull an item for separate discussion, please say so now, or we'll take it as a whole. Anyone? Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We'll begin with item 4, Burning Tree Farm, Section 1, Maintenance Bond for Water, $21,375. Recommendation, release the bond. Item 5, Fox and Canyon, Section 1, Performance Bond for Landscaping, $36,300. Recommendation, extend current amount for a period of 6 months to require completion of this project. If not completed, bond will be called. Item 6, Hart's Landmark, Performance Bond for Sewer Improvements, $85,970. Recommendation, reduced to maintenance in the amount of $40,000 for a period of 1 year. Item 7, Stevens Valley, Section 1, Maintenance Bond for Water and Sewer, $20,000. Recommendation, release the bond. Item 8, Stevens Valley, Section 2, Performance Bond for Water and Sewer, $71,078.20. Recommendation, extended current amount for a period of 6 months. Item 9, Stevens Valley, Section 2, Performance Bond for Roads, Drainage, Erosion Control, $635,000. Recommendation, reduced to maintenance in the amount of $317,000 for a period of 1 year. And item 10, The Grove, Section 7, Maintenance Bond for Wastewater Collection System, $82,680. Recommendation, release the bond.
Thank you, sir. Motion on consent. Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Presentation of agenda items, public hearing. For those of you in our audience that wish to speak, I think you should have signed up, and we've got, did you say one? Okay. At agenda item 11, the public hearing is an amendment to Article 17 of the Williamson County zoning ordinance regarding private roads and gated subdivision. We'll open public hearing at this time. If you wish to make a... Yes, I'm sorry. The report. Staff?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The previous zoning ordinance allowed private roads and gated subdivisions, and many such subdivisions have been developed in the county. However, as the current zoning ordinance was being drafted, a new state statute was adopted, placing much of the burden for oversight and maintenance of security gates on local governments. As a result, the county chose to no longer allow private roads and gated subdivisions. In recent years, a number of developers have expressed interest in developing private gated subdivisions or expanding existing gated subdivisions. Staff from the planning, engineering, and highway departments are not opposed to allowing such subdivisions as long as the responsibility for gate oversight and maintenance does not fall on the county. This proposed text amendment would once again allow private roads and gated subdivisions so long as certain criteria are met. Included in the criteria are provisions that place the entire burden for operation and maintenance of security gates upon the homeowners association, thus negating the concerns that had previously caused the prohibition of gated subdivisions. The proposed standards require confirmation that security gates will comply with all access standards of emergency personnel, school access, and postal access, in addition to ensuring that access to the community is not impeded in the event of a malfunction of the gated access. Additionally, the cost and obligation of maintenance of private streets in a gated subdivisions would fall on the homeowners living within that community, thus removing the cost and maintenance burden from the county. Staff recommends approval of the proposed text amendment. Staff also recommends that the attached resolution be forwarded to the County Commission for adoption.
Thank you, sir. We'll open public hearing at this time. Whoever signed up, if you would come forward, please. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members of the commission. Appreciate your time and opportunity to speak just for a moment. My name is Jim Henry, 1708 Elliott Road here in Franklin. I represent Discovery Land Company. The project that used to be known as the Hideaway at Arrington is now called the Club at Troubadour. We think the proposed text amendment to the zoning ordinance is well considered and well thought. We have a lot of our residents and prospects who have expressed an interest in having private gated community. We think that the way the ordinance is structured and written takes a lot of the burden off the county in terms of operation and maintenance, and yet allows us to satisfy the needs of those residents and prospects. And we stand ready as a developer to enforce all of the conditions that are outlined in that ordinance in terms of modifying our CCNRs and installing gates to the standards that are identified in the ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Discussion, questions, comments? Don?
I want to ask an obvious question that if for any reason there's a malfunction and there's an emergency situation, that the county at this point would not be able to be sued for that, it would be the homeowners association?
Counselor? That's a good question.
Well, so, I'm never going to say that the county can't be sued. The county can be sued for anything, but this shifts that obligation to the property owners and the homeowners association such that the county would have a defense to any lawsuit that's filed.
But like anything else, it would still be open for a suit. If you can sue
We'd
for
be,
anything, I
we'd be
realize
open
that.
to it if there weren't gates and somebody ran into a stone wall at the entrance. That still wouldn't be our responsibility, but we are always open to being sued.
Thank you.
As I read this, did I understand it that the emergency folks have a mechanism for opening these gates that are electronic?
Mm-hmm.
So that's carried in every fire truck and emergency vehicle we have?
I believe so.
Well, I was curious about that. And there's a manual way to open it.
There's supposed to be. It'll have to be created in such a way where it can be opened manually in the
Well,
event that
that's-
fails.
I read that too, okay.
Mhm.
Other questions, comments? Beth?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just had a question because I hear this from people in the community and I'm not sure if it's accurate. Somebody said that Tanya Tucker, who originally owned the property, had required that it never be gated when she sold the property. Is that a rumor? I just need to know how to answer people who ask me those questions.
I would think I don't know is a good answer.
There you go. I just thought we have this nice gentleman here. I thought if I've got legal counsel, have you heard that one? Okay, I've heard a lot of them. Okay. Thank you so much.
Other comments, questions? Discussion? Motion? Motion made in second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. That concludes the public hearing on the old business, preliminary plat review for Kings Chapel Phase 9, containing 0 lots on 123.682 acres located off of Murfreesboro Road in the 5th voting district. I think 0 lots is a first. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A revised concept plan for this development was approved at the September 2008 meeting. The applicant is now requesting preliminary plat approval for the 9th phase of the development, which consists of no buildable lots, approximately 119 acres of open space, and the right-of-way for Majestic Meadows Drive. The applicant has requested action on this item be deferred until the December 2019 meeting in order to allow additional time to address staff's comments. Staff concurs with this request.
Motion to defer. Motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Agenda.
In order to allow additional time to address staff's comments. Staff concurs with this request.
Questions of staff? Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Agenda item 14, final plat review for Briarwood Farms LLC property, large lot easement containing 3 lots on 89.63 acres located off of Harpeth, Paytonsville Road in the 2nd voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The subject property is approximately 15 acres in size and is located off Harpeth Paytonsville Road, approximately 300 feet west of Herbert Smithson Road. The applicant is requesting approval of a large lot easement subdivision in order to create 3 lots, being the 3rd, 4th, and 5th lots of an existing 50-foot ingress-egress utilities easement. The site contains natural resources requiring protection, including steep slopes, woodlands, and karst features. The southern end of the site slopes gradually upward from the west to the east with a few isolated moderately steep areas. The slopes become steeper toward the northern end of the site with moderately steep and very steep areas. All zoning ordinance requirements, including those regarding the protection of natural resources, have been met. The applicant is proposing individual septic systems for the lots, and the Williamson County Department of Sewage Disposal Management has approved the request. Water will be provided by Mill Crofton Utility District. As no fire hydrants are proposed, and as none are currently located within 500 feet of the building envelopes have been separated by 200 feet. The plat is in order, and staff recommends approval.
Thank you, sir. Questions of staff? Comments? Motion? Did I hear a second? Thank you, Brian. Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Agenda item 15 under non-residential site plans, non-residential site plan review for Conduit Church on 11 acres located off of Lewisburg Pike in the 2nd voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The applicant is requesting approval of a 12,300 square foot addition to an existing building and the associated parking. The property in question is located on Lewisburg Pike, approximately a quarter-mile north of the Interstate 840 interchange. Properties surrounding the parcel in question are greater than 20 acres in size and are used primarily for residential or agricultural purposes. The Cali subdivision is located directly across the street from the property, and the property to the south is located within the town of Thompson Station. Water to the site is served by HB&TS Utility District, and staff has received confirmation that service is available. Wastewater will be handled via an on-site septic, and the Williamson County Department of Sewage Disposal Management has reviewed and approved the request. A landscaping plan has been reviewed and approved by staff. Site plan is in order, and staff recommends approval with the following conditions. Number 1, posting of a performance bond for landscaping improvements in the amount of $39,000. Number 2, execution of a performance agreement for the above referenced surety. Number 3, execution of a stormwater maintenance agreement and submission of an operation and maintenance plan for stormwater improvements. And number 4, all signage must be approved per ordinance requirements.
Thank you, sir. Questions of staff? Comments? Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Under preliminary plats, item 16, preliminary plat review for Storms Creek Phase 1 containing 23 lots on 77.47 acres located off of Meeks Road in the 4th voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A concept plan for this development was approved at the March 2019 meeting. The applicant is now requesting preliminary plat approval for the first phase of the development, which consists of 23 lots, approximately 57 acres of open space, and the wastewater treatment and disposal system. The preliminary plat is consistent in layout with that depicted on the approved concept plan. The design plans for the off-site roadway improvements were approved by the County Highway Commission on September 4th, 2019. Staff recommends approval of the preliminary plat with the following conditions, which shall be addressed in conjunction with final plat consideration. Number 1, prior to final plat submittal for the first section of the proposed subdivision, a zoning certificate must be obtained for the completed wastewater treatment and disposal system. Prior to the issuance of the zoning certificate, the applicant shall provide the following. A letter from TDEC indicating that the non-traditional wastewater treatment and disposal system was installed and is functioning. B, as-built drawings showing the location of all system components and a sealed certification letter from the design engineer indicating that said system was constructed in accordance with the approved construction plans and specifications. C, a letter from the owner/utility provider indicating that it has accepted said system and is currently operating same. D, the posting of a performance bond in the amount of $120,700 for said system as specified by the county's wastewater consultant. E, posting of a performance bond in the amount of $8,200 for landscaping improvements. And F, execution of performance agreements for the above referenced sureties. Number 2, prior to final plat submittal, turn lane improvements on Meeks Road must be completed to the satisfaction of the Williamson County Highway Superintendent. Number 3, prior to consideration of final plat approval, the applicant shall submit HOA documents for review and approval by the county attorney's office. HOA documents must be submitted with the final plat, and the approved HOA documents must be recorded concurrently with the recording of the final plat. Number 4, establishment of a performance bond for roads, drainage, and erosion control. Number 5, establishment of a performance bond for water improvements in favor of Millcrofton Utility District. Number 6, establishment of a performance bond for the wastewater collection system. Number 7, submission of landscaping plans and establishment of a performance bond for landscaping. Number 8, execution of a stormwater maintenance agreement and submission of an operation and maintenance plan for stormwater improvements. And number 9, submission of the approved final plat in DWG format on recordable media based on the Tennessee State Plan Coordinate System prior to signature and recording of the plat.
Thank you, sir. Questions of staff? Comments? Motion? Motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Well, looks like Stevens Valley is the rest of the agenda. Number 17, preliminary plat for Stevens Valley in Phase 1 containing 59 lots on 13.67 acres located off Sneed Road in the 9th voting district. Staff?
A concept plan for the development was approved by this body at the April 2016 meeting. The applicant is now requesting preliminary plat approval for Phase 7 of the development, which includes 59 lots. The preliminary plat is consistent in layout and substantially conforms to the approved concept plan. This phase of the development will not trigger the need for additional roadway improvements beyond those already made by the developer. Staff recommends approval of this preliminary plat with the following conditions, which must be addressed in conjunction with final plat consideration. 1, establishment of performance bonds for roads, drainage, and erosion control. 2, establishment of a performance bond for water and sewer improvements in favor of Harpeth Valley Utilities District. 3, execution of a stormwater maintenance agreement and submission of an operation and maintenance plan for stormwater improvements. And 4, submission of the approved final plat in DWG format on recordable media based on the Tennessee State Plan Coordinate System prior to signature and recording of the plat.
Thank you, sir. Questions of staff? Comments? Discussion? Motion? Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Agenda item 18, continuing Stevens Valley. Preliminary plat review for Stevens Valley Phase 8 containing 48 lots on 12.59 acres located off Sneed Road in the 9th voting district. Staff?
A concept plan for this development was approved by this body at the April 2016 meeting. The applicant is now requesting preliminary plat approval for Phase 8 of the development, which includes 48 lots and approximately 1.6 acres of open space. The preliminary plat is consistent in layout and substantially conforms to the approved concept plan. This phase of the development will not trigger the need for additional roadway improvements beyond those already made by the developer. Staff recommends approval of this preliminary plat with the following conditions, which must be addressed in conjunction with final plat consideration. 1, establishment of performance bonds for roads, drainage, and erosion control. 2, establishment of a performance bond for water and sewer improvements in favor of Harpeth Valley Utilities District. 3, execution of a stormwater maintenance agreement and submission of an operation and maintenance plan for stormwater improvements. And 4, submission of the approved final plat in DWG format on recordable media based on the Tennessee State Plan Coordinate System prior to signature and recording of the plat.
Thank you, sir. Questions of staff? Comments? Motion? Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Agenda item 19, preliminary plat review for Stevens Valley Phase 9 containing one lot on .23 acres located off Sneed Road in the 9th voting district. Staff?
A concept plan for the development was approved by this body at the April 2016 meeting. The applicant is now requesting preliminary plat approval for Phase 9 of the development, which includes one lot. The preliminary plat is consistent in layout with and substantially conforms to the approved concept plan. This phase of the development will not trigger the need for additional roadway improvements beyond those already made by the developer. Staff recommends approval of this preliminary plat with the following conditions, which must be addressed in conjunction with the final plat's consideration. 1, establishment of performance bonds for roads, drainage, and erosion control. 2, establishment of a performance bond for water and sewer improvements in favor of Harpeth Valley Utilities District. And 3, submission of the approved final plat in DWG format on recordable media based on the Tennessee State Plan Coordinate System prior to signature and recording of the plat.
Thank you, sir. Questions of staff? Comments? Was there a second? I'm sorry. Brian? I'm going to get you a mic over here, buddy. Turn it on. Motion and second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Agenda item 20, preliminary plat review for Stevens Valley Phase 10, containing 3 lots on .66 acres located off Sneed Road in the 9th voting district. Staff?
A concept plan for this development was approved by this body at the April 2016 meeting. The applicant is now requesting preliminary plat approval for Phase 10 of the development, which includes 3 lots. The preliminary plat is consistent in layout with and substantially conforms to the approved concept plan. This phase of the development will not trigger the need for additional roadway improvements beyond those already made by the developer. Staff recommends approval of this preliminary plat with the following conditions, which must be addressed in conjunction with final plat consideration. 1, establishment of performance bonds for roads, drainage, and erosion control. 2, establishment of a performance bond for water and sewer improvements in favor of Harpeth Valley Utilities District. And 3, submission of the approved final plat in DWG format on recordable media based on the Tennessee State Plan Coordinate System prior to signature and recording of the plat.
Thank you, sir. Questions of staff? Motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Under final plats, agenda item 21, final plat review for Stevens Valley Section 6, containing 77 lots on 23.76 acres located off Sneed Road in the 9th voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A preliminary plat for this section of the development was approved at the February 2019 meeting. The applicant is now requesting final plat approval for Section 6 of the development, which includes 77 lots and approximately 4.3 acres of open space. Roadway improvements associated with this section of the development, as stipulated in the traffic impact study, have been completed in accordance with the approved plans. The applicant has requested action on this item be deferred until the December 2019 meeting. Staff concurs with this request.
Motion to defer. Motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Agenda item 22, final plat review for Russell Ridge large lot easement subdivision containing 5 lots on 45.49 acres located off of Russell Road in the 1st voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The subject property is approximately 45 acres in size and is located off Russell Road, approximately 3/4 of a mile south of Old Harding Road. The applicant is requesting approval of a large lot easement subdivision in order to create 5 lots off a new 50-foot ingress-egress utilities easement. At this time, the applicant is requesting deferral to the December 2019 meeting to allow more time to obtain approval from the water provider. Staff concurs with this request.
Motion to defer. excuse me. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Ladies and gentlemen, I need a motion to adjourn. We are adjourned. Thank you.